All right, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. My name is Carlos Garcia. I'm the founder and CEO of Gar Capital. It is Monday, October 28th, 2024. Glad to be with you this morning and every morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time here on our YouTube channel and streaming live on Instagram. Thanks so much for taking the time out of your day. Let's go ahead and get started. Dow futures are up 175 points. The Nasdaq is up 155 points, with the S&P up 0.56. The Russell's up 0.73%. 10-year Treasury yields 4.244%. Yields are up this morning. The dollar is also up this morning, but looks like it's double topping, at least on the 1 hour here. Looks like we hit some resistance right around 104.50. So the dollar pulling back is helping equities. Volatility index, the VIX, down 5.85%, back below 20. It actually rejected 20. Let's go ahead and zoom in here on the 1 hour. You can see that we do have a 1 hour gap here at 1980. So be very careful when we open. We may get a slight pullback. We've been getting reversals right at the morning. The market was down, it bounces up. If the market's up, it pulls back, really reversing the pre-market moves. We've seen that in the past couple of weeks. So again, if you're seeing a pop in the VIX, more than likely it's going to get to this gap fill here at 1980 with a triple top here. If it rejects 20, so be it. But if it breaks out above it, then things can be a little bit of a concern, at least for the NASDAQ. Let's go ahead and go to the NASDAQ really quickly. Put two ovals here showing a possible double top, at least on the 1 hour chart. And again, if we do reject 700, then we'd probably come back down to 575, down to 500. You can see you've just been stuck in a range. False breakout here back on the 14th. Could this possibly be another false breakout? Let us see. Let's bring up the live market blog. And you can see today marks the first day of the open window period for corporate buybacks, with about 50% in open window today. And today, October 28th, is one of the strongest days for the S&P 500 historically speaking, with an average up day of 0.51%. We are now up 0.56%, at least on S&P 500 futures. So at least it's following the script for now. But what I do expect, I went and talked about this on Investment Club, is that I do expect us to have a pullback either ahead of the election day, after the election day, or on election day. One more flush is what Goldman Sachs is expecting, and so am I. So once we get that one last flush out of the way, November and December are going to be strong, moving higher. So again, the seasonality since 1976, you can see ahead of election day, we do get a little bit of a drop, depending on how you see things, what's big and what's not big in terms of drops. November, first half and second half of the year, historically speaking, really great returns. Again, November has been just one of those months that consistently have been strong, while October has been consistently weak. Most big stock moves to the downside happen in October with a bounce into November. So that's just, again, historical patterns. Anything could change, as we know. Here's the S&P 500 monthly seasonality in the presidential election year. Since 1928, you can see how November and December are strong, yet September and October are weak. September was green, though. So we've had one of the better election year S&P 500 returns this year. I think the S&P is up 44%. Now, I'm not here to say that we're going to stay there or go higher. Again, I am just expecting that we get that one more flush down ahead of the election, on the election day, or right after it, maybe like a sell the news event. So if you're an investor right now, you're probably just waiting for any kind of sale that comes up, because definitely we are bullish into 2025, especially with lower rates, lower dollar, lower yields, as we've been saying since really 2023. So with that being said, let's keep moving forward. Crude oil is down 6.45%. Reports that Israel is not going to retaliate or hit any of the Iranian oil fields. Still more geopolitical news. Gasoline futures down 5.37%, now below that $2 level on the futures side. Gold futures is down as well. That's probably showing a good, healthy risk-on sentiment where, gold is not as attractive as equities when stocks are up. Silver's flat this morning. Copper down 0.32%. Bitcoin's up 69,550. Ethereum 2548 this morning. And again, we're checking the VIX at 6%. So that is where we are this morning. Let's take a look at the NASDAQ one more time. 20,700 is what we're looking for a break. So I'll put 706 if it does break out. Historically speaking, again, 0.50%. We're up 0.59%. The script is being followed at the moment. If we break below 575 on NASDAQ, I'm looking at 500 as the next support here. Let's take a look at the S&P 500 futures. S&P above the 200 MA on the 1 hour, nothing really there to see. And you can see pretty much just higher we go. Use that 20-day moving average as your support short term. But again, if we do pull back, you have a nice rollover gap here from September. That's right around 56.35. That'd probably be a great place to see if we get a pullback to buy. Let's go to the Russell. The Russell's sitting on the 20-day moving average currently. Still have that upward triangle at the moment. Still have a triple top at 2,300. So if we can break above the 20, hold that, get above 2267 or 2270, then we can target 2300. So step by step, we'll get there. I do have NVIDIA puts running at the moment, and you can see that we did push higher. We did get this 1 hour gap fill, but nothing has broken as of yet. 144.50 being the highest possible double top, very similar to NASDAQ, the way it's moving. So again, I'm holding puts. We do have AMD earnings tomorrow. So I just want to see the price action today. We had Meta puts last week, and that was a grind. So we will see what happens again. Seeing the move here in NASDAQ is boosting up NVIDIA. It's up about $1.50 pre-market, and you can see that 1 hour with gaps. So I went ahead and gave the game plan to our members on our Discord server under Market Watch with the breakdown and everything. And we also have the watch list up for all of our options traders as well. We also put a couple freebies up here, 3 stocks that we're watching: BABA, QQQ, and Microsoft. That is also on the live market blog. We also did our weekly video as well. We also have our futures video as well. That's been posted, and a nice trade by Nick yesterday. So ready to roll in a very important and big earnings week. Let's see what we get. If you want to take a look at some of the names that we are watching from the earnings reports this week, make sure to take a look at our latest video, which was last night, the weekly recap and preview. Can you go over SPY with huge earnings? If Meta crushes, Apple crushes, Microsoft, it will obviously push that higher. Feel like maybe a better play versus the huge premiums on the above company contracts. Yeah, because of the weight. That's true. But in terms of SPY, what are we looking for exactly? Are you looking for 584, 586? Do you just want to go for the 590 calls? Again, it just really depends. And again, the IV is pretty high. And the only concern I have is the expectation because of Tesla and Netflix that all tech is going to go higher, which is definitely very possible. The question is which one? And we just have to wait and see. SPY could be it. Again, you could use the 20-day moving average as your support at 577. But until then, I don't see right now I think the better play would be Qs, just for the weight, not SPY. If you kind of want a little bit of a blend of more value names, SPY has that a little more weighted than Qs, obviously. But yeah, if Meta and all these names crush, then yeah, SPY is going to go higher. Same with Qs. But all it takes is one not to have a great earnings report, and then that brings the NASDAQ down. Remember, it's Amazon, AMD. You have a lot of names reporting this week. Microsoft as well. So if one of them doesn't make it, or if all of them sweep and everything's great, well, I'm with you. I love it. But the question is every single stock reporting in the big tech names, are they going to beat? Are they going to soar? We will see. Hello, TGT. TGT. Nothing as of yet, at least on the option side. Yeah, it's pretty choppy here. I have an alert break above 167.57. If that breaks, then yes, 182 would be next. Thanks for the question. Let's see if there's any questions on Instagram this morning. Tesla looks good above 271. What do I think? This is from Instagram. Yeah, you got 271.08. Remember, we still have this gap to fill here at 289.24. So let's place an alert above 271 together. And if we get there, hey, we can go for it here at 289 or the 290s. Meta breakout 580. What do you mean? What do I mean, or what do I see? I talked about that yesterday on the video. Last night, I mean. 585.13. If that does break, you got up to 622. But it's right in the midpoint of this upward channel. So again, it's kind of a flip of a coin. And you're also below the 20-day. It is up pre-market. But again, you need to see if it settles above the 20-day. TJX puts. Let's see it. I did fill that daily gap here at 113.48. In order to short, you'd have to get below 107.62. So this is, I assume, going to be waiting for earnings when they come forward. Yeah, forward, you got to get above 12. And if you do get above 12, you have a gap to fill here at 13.56. The good news is the 20-day is about to break above the 50. So we should be getting a little bit of a pop in forward, at least with earnings based on the technicals. The only concern I have with forward is that's below the 200-day. Let's see. Any other questions? What's good to buy today? That depends on your time frame. Depends on what you're looking at. If you're looking to invest long term, you're not buying anything today at all. Actually, you're actually just waiting for that drop right around earnings season, which is seasonally speaking gonna happen. The question is when. And if we don't get one, fine. I don't think anyone's going to be too upset at higher stock prices. But again, we're looking for an opportunity for any kind of imbalance in price due to any kind of fear sentiment. That's what we're looking for. We know the path that we're going to get on. Lower interest rates does help equities. As we know, lower dollar helps. That's what we're looking for. But again, for the short term, we're looking for any kind of fear or any kind of change in sentiment. Elections can change really quickly. We don't know who's going to win as of yet. There's betting markets. There's predictions all over the place. But until it's actually done, nobody knows. So we just have to wait on that. And I'm looking to see that maybe the election gives us an opportunity at some cheaper stock prices. It usually does. Let's see. Nike. I think Nike, I talked about that the other day. Let's see. Yeah, Nike not doing its thing. That's for sure. 85.10 needs to break to go target 87. A break below 77, you go down to 70. But you're kind of in between those points there. Good morning. What level would you fill puts on SPY? Targeting the gap on the 1 hour. Thank you. No problem. Yeah, this one right here. This is the gap from overnight. 578.81. If you're trying to play the intraday fall, you'd have to break 580 first before you get there. Again, that's if you're just trying to target the gap fill. You'd have to do Wednesday expiry at that point because the implied volatility is going to be a little higher. The good news, guys, is with this kind of melt up, puts become cheaper and then things get a little crowded. Again, just understand the expectation of what we're trying to look for. We're looking for one more jolt of fear, something to get us a 2%, 3% drop so we can get that out of the way and then we can move on to the election and then we could see if we could buy the dip. And that's really what we're looking for, is to buy a good, meaningful dip, not a small blip. That's not something that we want because those are hard to signal and hard to catch. So again, we'll see if this is a double top right now on NASDAQ. If it is, we'll be ready to the downside. And if it isn't and we break out, well, we're ready to go to the highs of 983 on NASDAQ futures. I'm ready for anything. So let's be on the lookout. Make sure to follow us on Discord. The link is on our website, www.gar.capital. Appreciate your time. Thank you guys for the questions. We will see you tomorrow. Have a great trading day and have a good one, guys. Cheers.